everyone, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we'll be taking a look at the Imaginext Sea Dragon Island playset. This is an older set that I've definitely wanted for a really long time. I can remember seeing this at a Walmart way back in the day before I ever got into collecting Imaginext stuff, but I just saw it and it immediately caught my eye just because it's a crazy visual giant sea dragon. It looks really cool. The colors pop. I love the color scheme. Just everything about this drew me in when I saw it on the shelf as I was passing by looking at some other toy. And I just remember thinking, this is so neat. It's too bad I don't really collect Imaginext stuff. But I considered even just getting it anyway, and then I thought, nah, I won't get it. So once I got back into Imaginext stuff, or really started, this was always kind of on my radar, and I always kind of wanted to get back to it. And luckily, I just had an opportunity to purchase one for a fairly reasonable price, used secondhand. And it has all of the accessories except these discs. These are little gold discs. We'll take a closer up look at them in a minute, but it's supposed to come with 3 of those, but it only has 1. At least I have 1. But those are the only things missing from the set. Otherwise, it's in pretty good condition. I had to clean it up a little bit, but it looks good. And I'm happy to get most of the accessories, and it's just a really cool playset, so I wanted to share it with you guys. So as you can just see, it's a giant sea dragon kind of throughout this island, and I'm going to do my best to show you all the features and everything. I probably won't be able to keep the whole thing on camera at the same time because it's rather large. Barely have it on camera right now. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and we'll take a look at all the accessories first. Alright, so first up we'll get these two things out of the way. They're both made from the same color orange plastic. This one is a giant clamshell. As you can see, not too much going on with this. It does open and close and stays together pretty nice. You can hear that kind of snap to keep it closed. You can keep the discs in here if you like. Well, disc singular, but if you had all 3, you could keep them in there. You could keep their accessories in here. I don't think it's large enough to fit a figure, but let's test it. No, not really. Doesn't quite work. But you could definitely keep his accessories in here. For the most part. Pretty much. So, yeah, it's just kind of a funny giant clamshell accessory. Use your imagination. Next up, we have this boat. Very simplistic boat. You can see it does kind of have... It kind of looks like a shark or something. Like there's the eye and there's the teeth molded into the side of the boat. But otherwise, very basic. Obviously, the figures can sit inside. It can fit both of them, which is nice. Otherwise, nothing too remarkable. It is meant to pass through here to get to the inside of the playset, which we'll get to in a little bit. Here are the 2 figures. As far as I know, these guys don't have any names. They're just kind of like generic pirate guys. I love this sword, though. I think this is a really neat sword. As you can see, the figure that I got is a little roughed up. He's got some paint scratches, just kind of generally played with condition. But I do like the emblem on his back. The sea serpent. That's very, very cool. I like that a lot. Has normal articulation. Head can move from side to side. Shoulder articulation. Wrist swivel. Some of the joints on this guy are kind of loose. But like I said, he's been loved. He's been played with. It's definitely an older set, but he can hold his sword. Looks great. You can see his arms a little loose. There it goes. Then we have the other guy. This guy kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, maybe like an Asian pirate. Like if you remember those Pirates of the Caribbean movies, they had that 3rd one with the pirates from Singapore. I think that one was World's End or Edge of the World or something like that. He reminds me of someone like that, and this guy kind of looks like a French pirate or something to me with the mustache and the beard, and he's got the little bandana on his head. Very cool. So they're both great figures. This guy's also got kind of loose joints, but all the same articulation points you would expect. And his sword, I really like his sword because you can see it's kind of a seashell as the hilt. And then it has the cool blade, which is really neat. So go ahead and pop that in his hand. And basically, both of their arms are just too loose with the swords. It's hard for them to... It looks like he has an action feature because the arm's so loose. But again, nice figures. Both very cool. Love the accessories. Love the paint jobs, color schemes. Great figures all around. So putting these 2 guys off to the side for the moment, we'll put them in the boat. And then you get these golden discs, or in my case, disc. It's got that same sea serpent logo from the back of his vest. And then on this side, just kind of has some generic flames. So you're supposed to get 3 of these. I only have 1. I'll show you where this comes into play a little bit later on. So we'll zoom out here and we'll take a look at the kind of bottom section of the playset. And then we'll kind of move up as we go. So you can see you have the big tail of the sea serpent here. And if you come to the side, there's a little red lever that you can pull up and down. And you can see that moves the tail. So you can whip somebody. Basically just backhand them with the serpent tail. So that's kind of a cool feature. This power pad right here controls this door. So you can open that gate. Which it's kind of silly to have a gate right next to a giant open hole, but it's still a cool feature. The gate looks really cool. So I like that a lot. And then, like I said before, this area is meant for them to pass through with the boat. So they can get through to the back section. Up here, and it's going to be difficult to show this part off, but you can see these 2 orange platforms. So there's this red piece here, and you move this up and down or back and forth, and it makes the orange parts, the 2 platforms, move around and slightly spin. So what you're supposed to do, and I've been trying to figure out the best configuration for this, but you're supposed to peg the 2 figures onto these platforms, and you can hear they peg on very tightly. And then I guess raise the arms, but again, my figures are kind of loose, so I don't know how well this is going to work. And then they're supposed to, like, sword fight up and down the area. But it's kind of funny, like, no matter how I turn them, they don't really face each other. I almost feel like these need to be turned... I don't want to break it, though, but I feel like they should be, like, just 90 degrees the other way so they could face each other. Because as it stands, they don't really come into contact with each other at all. So I'm not quite sure how this is supposed to work, or... if these are maybe put on wrong. I don't think that these come off. I guess I could try to look at it underneath a little bit, but I don't know. It's a neat feature in theory, but it just doesn't work all that well as far as the 2 figures don't really get anywhere near each other. And I could very well just be doing it wrong, but I've really tried like different ways. Like, to me, you would want them faced like this and then moving down together like that, but it's definitely not the case. So it's a neat idea. Not my favorite feature by far, but what are you gonna do? So now I'm gonna shift the camera up so we can take a look at the top section. So for this top section here, I'm gonna have to tilt this forward a bit so you can see what's going on. There's a little bit of space here for figures to stand, and there's kind of some steps going down right here. But you can see that power pad, and basically what that does, that turns the sea dragon head around, which is really cool. And he's got a really nice range of motion. He can go all the way to the side, and then come all the way back around. Not quite 180 degrees, but pretty darn close. So how this works, you can see it swivels here on the neck, but it also has a head swivel, which is manual. So you can tilt that up and down yourself, which looks really cool. And then you can see the front of the nose here opens up, and that's where you put your discs in. And then you can see this red button on the side of his head. That's what fires the disc. And it fires pretty well, I have to say. I like that. Really well done. And most of these are the same size, so if I have some discs from something else, I'm sure I could put them in there and get them to fire, and I'm sure that would work just fine. But yeah, you also have this little flag, which you can take off. You can see it's got kind of a serpent there on the flag. And that just pops onto this little connection point right there. The tail keeps falling down. There we go. So yeah, that is the top section. Let's go around and take a look at the back. So here's the back of the playset. Not too much going on back here. This is the dueling area. This is where the dueling area ends. So you can have a figure come from there and kind of fall down this little hole into the bottom section down here, which if I tilt the camera down, You can see it's really just kind of open down here. There's not a ton going on. Figures can hang out and stand. Obviously that boat comes through the hole in the front, so that comes through right here. You can kind of dock right there. And then you have the gate that opens from the front. You can kind of just push it with your finger too if you don't want to use the panel, but I think it's pretty neat. Like I said, not a ton going on in the back, but it does give a little bit more play, kind of like a little secret dungeon area or secret hideout area with the gate and just kind of this area for the figures to chill out. And also they have this entry point here into the dueling area, which then takes you back into the whole area in the front. Not to mention, if I come back up to the top, this is more of that area up top here where I talked about where you can have figures stand and also sit in the power pad here to turn the Sea Dragon head around. So I think it's really cool. There's also some steps over here to get up to this area. It's just a really fun playset. I really like it. Even though there's not too much going on in the back area, there's more than enough in the front to make up for it. I'm really excited to finally have this set in my collection. It's definitely been one that I've been looking at, and it's been on my radar trying to find a good price for it for quite some time now. It's just so visually appealing to me. I think the Sea Dragon weaving its way throughout the island is just a really cool visual. The color scheme they use is really excellent, really vibrant, just very fun. I really like all the play features. I think the gate is neat. I love the fact that the head can move around and fire discs. The tail thrashes. The fencing or sword fighting feature up here is not the best, but it's neat. I appreciate what they were going for. And, you know, it's still kind of fun, even though they don't really look like they're anywhere near each other, fighting each other, but what are you going to do? If you can get your hands on this one, eBay, a local yard sale, a secondhand store, something like that, thrift store maybe, I definitely recommend it, especially if you can find one with all of the pieces, or at least most of the pieces. Great figures, great accessories, great playset, great play features, and then just the color scheme is really a big part of it for me as well. I just think it's really neat. It's a really neat playset. I mean, Imaginext and Fisher-Price usually do a great job, and this time is no exception. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.